My name is Kath. I'm in Cape Town at the moment. I'm born and raised in Durban, but I'm currently in Cape Town interning at Glamour magazine, and I'm staying with my Cape Town side of my family while I'm there. I'm studying journalism at Durban University of Technology, and I chose that crap college because they had a radio booth, and I actually wanted to get into radio, and then we've seen it inside the radio booth twice, and the lectures are pathetic, and they always strike about everything. So I'm not too happy actually with the institution, so I'm quite happy to be out of there and now actually being in the industry instead of being in lectures and not learning anything. So I'm actually now experiencing what I'm supposed to be doing. My average day at Glamour, I'm usually the first to get in because I get in at 8 o'clock because of the commute. It's just the train gets in at 8, so that's when I arrive. Everyone usually arrives at about 9 o'clock, so by then I've done a bit of work. Usually I do a lot of research, a lot of image searching for them because they get a lot of their stuff from overseas. So they basically need the South African version to change a few words. So it's not too much to do there, and a lot of coffee making. When the editor arrives, it's kind of a thing that I go make her coffee. If there's meetings, I do that as well for them. The commute from where I live in Strand to the Cape Town offices is quite a long one. We take the Business Express train, so that leaves at 6:30 in the morning from Strand, and then we arrive just after 7:30, and then I take one of the My City buses to the offices. That takes about another 5-10 minutes, depending if I've caught the one bus or the other bus. I do enjoy being at Glamour because it's nice to see what happens behind. You always see the magazine coming in, you're like, wow, it's so amazing. And then the editor, Panina, to meet her in real life is fantastic because you see the person and you see their accomplishments and you've heard of what they've done, and then to meet them and to realize they're actually a really, really nice person, and it's not like Devil Wears Prada, and they're not not eating and being bitchy. They're actually being awesome and supportive. It's really, really nice, and especially being in the fashion department because they get to do all the shoots. So you get to see all the clothes come in, and you get to see them unpack it and be like, oh, these are pretty and these are pretty. But it's also taught me that kind of dream also takes a lot of work, and they a lot of the time. She's there sometimes at the same time I get there and stay in there late hours, and so it's good to actually see what's required if you actually want that position. Yeah, usually when I go to a club, we've planned before, so we know kind of who's coming with. We try to get quite a big group of people to come with, so we're not just it's fun to go with me and my best mate or something, but it's also good to have a big group of people so that you can kind of, if you don't feel like dancing, you can go outside and chill and chat to people. I quite enjoy a place that has somewhere to sit down as well, especially wearing heels. I kind of drink to not feel my feet, so I can still continue wearing heels. Usually get quite drunk. I don't know if we're including this. Am I going? Yeah, we have a few drinks. Usually we like going when there's specials, so buy one, get one free. We're students, we need that kind of thing. We need the specials. Yeah, and we usually all take taxis home. That's always included into our nightly budget. We always kind of hide money in our wallets so that we don't spend it on drinks and shooters. Yeah, I mostly listen to 5FM, or if there's nothing good on the radio station, I'll listen to my CD in the car. I'm very much a TV addict. I love reality TV, especially the MTV trashy things like Jersey Shore. I'm addicted to. The Hills, which was on quite a while back, to watch. It's quite stupid. A lot of people don't watch reality TV because it's you're watching someone else's life, and it's quite weird. But I love it. I love the Real World and Jersey Shore and stuff like that. I enjoy also all the Mnet shows like Grey's Anatomy, Desperate Housewives, and the little shows like Cougar Town and Modern Family and things like that. I usually interact with my friends through BBM, seeing as everyone now has a BlackBerry, it's easiest and it's free to speak to someone on BBM, especially people that you don't usually see as often. It's easier to just type out a long thing and see how they're doing. Facebook is more for my friends overseas. That was the reason I kind of got Facebook, was to interact when I was overseas with people that were here, and for them to see what I was doing and for me to see what they were doing. And now Facebook is also one of the main things on how I see what my friends are up to overseas, and also like if my friends have put up photos from the weekend, I'll go check them out and see what they're doing or see what they're doing this week. But usually like the friends that I keep most in contact with will be like through cell phone as opposed to via like a social network. Shopping, I usually only get to do like once a week, like grocery shopping wise. Most of the time I'm eating with my family, but living in little granny flats, I have like my own fridge that I just kind of stock up. And what I always put in every single time is gherkins. I have a strange obsession with that. I eat the bottle like in 2 days. And frozen yogurts. I always buy Woolies frozen yogurts. My aunt got me like addicted to it. And with clothes shopping, I don't usually do too much, which is a very unfortunate being with the fashion girls and seeing what goes into the closet and what comes out of the closet. It's very like, you want to buy that stuff, but it's from like Errol Lorenda's or something, and it's like 3,000 Rand for a pair of heels. Like, you just don't do that as a student. Okay, so another thing we probably wouldn't be able to see just from looking at me, I have tattoos that are mostly hidden. That was kind of one of the rules when I was still living with my parents, that it had to be hidden, relatively so. So that, because I started getting tattoos done when I was 19. So I wasn't exactly in my job. So my parents were just nervous that I got something that then, later on when I tried to get a job, they weren't too keen on it. So I got my side done. And I got my ankle done, so even though like sometimes like if summer comes you can see my ankle, but often like it's behind on the back of my ankle, so most people don't see that, and it hasn't actually affected my job so far. I love tattoos. There's no like, you can't like explain it, and they're very addictive as well. But yeah, I got stars done because I've always wanted stars. I just would tattoo my whole body with stars if I could. And then I got some writing done for the Christian aspect. I got baptized in the river I'm delivered. It's unfortunately a Good Charlotte song, but that was not intentional. And it's something to keep with you forever. I'm not one of those people that if in 10 years I decide to get rid of it, I can. I'm like, you kind of get it for life, and it grows old and saggy with you, and you have wrinkly skin. I don't care if I'm a grandma with tattoos. The people who like have a negative attitude are ones that don't have tattoos, and I think if they got one, they would actually realize that they would probably enjoy it and they probably want it. And yeah, like my mom even has a tattoo, and like it's a very tiny small one, but it's a tattoo nonetheless. I also did some volunteer work with Kids in Action. It's a place that takes in stray cats that people have like found. They've found like a whole box of kittens that have been left at a bus shelter, and they just get left there. And if someone drives past and sees that, they know to phone and say, listen, I've got a box of kittens. Obviously I can't take on like 8 cats, but can you please take them? And then they feed them, and especially if they're often left when they're too young, so they still need to get nursed, and often people don't know how to do it themselves because they don't get kittens when they're very young. So they nurse them back to health, and they nurse them to a point where they can get taken to a family. And they are like kind of like an orphanage for kittens. So I love it. It was fun because I got to play with kittens, and I had to like control myself not to take them all home. But it was awesome because like I was helping out, and I was also learning because it was something like also kind of part of a school project. We had to do like the social media for an organization. So I got to choose that one, and I got to spend some time with her and see why she started the organization and see what they're doing. It was awesome, like to see them doing good work with such cute little things. So it's basically like all about me, and when you get to know me, like you'll know that I'm like very loyal to who's important to me. And you lose, like if you're not loyal to me, you kind of lose my loyalty kind of thing. I'm very opinionated. Like it's, even if I'm 100% wrong, I'm going to be like, well, that's all I believe. Like it's, even if I'm talking crap. Yeah, and I just enjoy funny as opposed to anything else, and just enjoying life instead of being emo. Ta-da!